Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to cook. This video is way overdue. I just wanted to wait for Gojo's fight with Sukuna to be over. And now that it's all wrapped up, let's talk about it. So just to put it out there for those that don't know this, the main factors that will decide the win between these two characters is hacks and speed. And when I say speed, I mean every aspect of it, like attack and reaction speed. The reason for this being Gojo's infinity that makes it pretty much impossible to touch him through conventional means, of course. And in Kakashi's case, he would have the Kamu intangibility, which also makes him untouchable. So yeah, these two guys are crazy. Things like attack potency and durability don't really matter as much in a battle between these guys, so no need to waste too much time on that, but I'll touch upon them briefly anyway. Also, I will not be equalizing power systems, so chakra is not equal to cursed energy. Now, starting with Gojo Satoru, looking at his power itself in the Jujutsu Kaisen verse, he's pretty much at the top. Of course, he's not exactly the strongest, that is Sukuna, but Gojo's still on the highest level and clear of everyone else in the verse. And he's vastly superior to cursed spirits like Dagon, who can create small island-sized domain, and even a special great sorcerer like Yuki, who can create a small building-sized black hole. And she's miles below Gojo in terms of power. As for the Dagon feat, it's kind of iffy in terms of how that relates to attack potency feats, but for all intents and purposes, Gojo being miles ahead of that should at least put him in the island level ranges. And if you consider Yuki's black hole valid to AP scaling, which is also kind of inconsistent, you can possibly get Gojo up to planetary. Now, this is all a highball, but like I said earlier, AP doesn't matter much in this battle. Now, moving on to speed, which is the real deal. Gojo is also at the peak of the verse in this aspect as well, being able to perception blitz special grade sorcerers like Uraume, who should be equal to or above the likes of Awakened Maki, who has feats of reacting to cursed spirits now you're attacking at Mark 3, which is considered the top speed feat in the verse. With Gojo being considerably faster than everyone else in the verse except Sukuna, there is really no definitive proof on exactly how much faster he is to the rest of the verse, who are mostly in the supersonic ranges, like Choso shooting the piercing blood at Mark 2, which is considered a really fast attack in the verse. But one thing is for sure, and that is the fact that Gojo is fast enough to blitz anyone in the verse not named Sukuna. So that will at least put him in the hypersonic ranges, because to blitz someone you would have to be at least 7 times faster than their perception. Now, I've seen people try to hype up Gojo's speed using the Holo Purple, but later in the video I will explain why that's not valid. Now, looking at the abilities Gojo has, he's got the 6 Eyes and Limitless Curse technique he was born with. The 6 Eyes giving him the ability to detect the flow of cursed energy and basically enhances his mental perception. With this, he's able to efficiently control his cursed energy to the barest minimum in terms of usage, practically giving him unlimited cursed energy, or stamina in this case. Gojo also has the Limitless Curse technique, which gives him the ability to manipulate space on an atomic level. And with this, he developed a bunch of sub-variant techniques of the Limitless, like Curse technique Lapse, which creates a powerful force of attraction at Gojo's desired point in space. There's the Curse technique Reversal Red, which is when Gojo foils the Limitless with RCT, Reverse Curse technique, and this creates a powerful repulsive force between him and his target. There's also the Holo Purple, which is the fusion of the blue and red curse techniques to create a purple energy bomb of imaginary mass that erases anything it comes in contact with. Something like that. Now, the most relevant ability in this fight is the Neutral Limitless, aka Infinity, in which Gojo manipulates the space around him to an infinite series, practically creating an infinite distance between him and his opponents, which makes him untouchable by conventional means at least. And then there's the Domain Expansion as well, which is a metaphysical barrier created using cursed energy, and anyone trapped in this is instantly hit with the Unlimited Void Curse technique, which floods the target's brain with infinite information, ultimately overloading their brains and putting them in a catatonic state, kinda like Itachi's Tsukuyomi. So yeah, Gojo also has top tier reverse curse technique ability, on himself at least, and with this, he can regenerate wounds, limbs, and any damaged part or organ in his body, except his head or brain. And then he can also teleport using curse technique Lapse. So that is everything relevant on Gojo for this fight. Let's move on to Kakashi. Moving on to the copy ninja Kakashi. In terms of AP, warrior Kakashi should be superior to most of the Akatsuki members who are stronger than tailed beast Jinchurikis, who should easily be in the island to country level ranges. And not only has Kakashi fought some of these said Akatsuki members even in a much weaker form, but he also went blow for blow with the Jinchurikis as well in the war arc, and is able to consistently damage and tank their attacks as well. But when looking at Kakashi at his peak, which is when he acquires the double Mangekyo Sharingan, he is even vastly superior to the likes of KCM2 Naruto, who is easily in the multi-continental planetary ranges, being able to consistently output insane levels of said raw power. And even much more, he will be relative to six-part characters like Naruto and Sasuke, as well as Madara and Kaguya, as we see in their battles, of course. Now, in terms of speed, Kakashi just absolutely shits on Gojo, and it's not even funny. Even as a child, while exhausted, he is able to run up a cliff and chop off a lightning bolt before he hits the ground. This is a massively hypersonic feat. Natural lightning bolt speed clocking at Mach 364, while Mach 3 is an achievement for the top tiers in JJK. Bruh. At the age of 13, he already outskills the entire Jujutsu Kaisen verse in reaction and combat speed. Not to talk of adult Kakashi, who is fast enough to go toe-to-toe with Bijus and Akatsuki members, perceive and react to Itachi's water bullet, which is light speed. Kakashi is even faster than characters like Darui, who can shoot light speed attacks. And even without using his Mangekyo Sharingan, he can visually track and keep up with KCM1 Naruto, who blitzed the Raikage. And even when Naruto achieves KCM2 and gets way faster, Kakashi is still able to keep up with that level of speed. If we're now talking DMS, it's a whole different level, as he's able to react to Kaguya's attacks easily. The same Kaguya that was giving six parts Naruto and Sasuke problems, by the way. So, I think I've made my points very clear on the speed difference between these two characters. In summary, based on the ridiculous difference in attack and reaction speed, Gojo will never be able to tag Kakashi in a fight because him and all of his attacks are simply not fast enough to land, and he's way too slow to perceive him in any way. Kakashi also doesn't have any cursed energy, so Gojo wouldn't be able to detect him with his sixth eyes, and even if he did, we know that's not enough to stop him from getting hits. Just go read Sukuna vs Gojo or Gojo vs Toji. Now, at this point, I'm expecting Gojo fans to make two arguments for his speed. Number one, they will say the Hollow Purple attack is faster than light and Gojo scales to it, so he should also be FTL by default, and that is wrong. The narrative of Hollow Purple being faster than light stems from the way it works, in the sense that it creates imaginary mass which is made up of tachyons, and in real life physics, tachyon particles typically move faster than light. But unfortunately, it doesn't work the same way in Jujutsu Kaisen, as we vividly see slow-ass characters like Hanami react to it and dodge the attack. And Hanami is even slower than characters like Maki, who has problems perceiving Mach 3 speeds. So, theoretically speaking, the concept of Hollow Purple being imaginary mass and faster than light is correct, but in the lore of JJK, it's very inaccurate and inconsistent. Now check this out. Even if we did agree that Hollow Purple was in fact FTL, it still won't be enough to outspeed Kakashi, who can easily keep up with and react to characters like KCM2 Naruto, who is far above light speed to FTL characters like the Raikage. And if we're talking about DMS Kakashi, who can react to Kaguya's attacks, then it's a wrap. Come on. The second argument they will make is, what about Gojo's teleportation? Wouldn't that help him here? No, it won't. The reason being that Gojo's teleportation is inconvenient battle-wise. Never have we seen Gojo spam his teleportation in battle. Even when he fought against Sukuna, he couldn't really do any teleportation attacks there or move around easily, teleporting around conveniently. It doesn't seem to be something he can do at his convenience, and he doesn't really incorporate it into battle, teleporting around on some Minato shit. So it's not gonna work. And even if he could do that, even if he could dart around and do all these things, appearing from one point to another point in space doesn't really mean much, because when he teleports around Kakashi or he teleports to Kakashi, for him to actually land any attacks on Kakashi will still be based on his actual finite attack and reaction speed, which is still slower than Kakashi's anyway. So his teleportation isn't going to do much. Now, here's the real argument though. If Gojo is too slow to hit Kakashi, that doesn't automatically give him the win, because Gojo still has the infinity and Kakashi doesn't have infinite speed, so he can't touch him. Well, joke's on you, Kakashi can. But before I touch upon that, let me extensively explain how much superior Kakashi is to Gojo and how he will deal with all of his attacks. And I'm putting an end to this debate for once and for all. Starting with Red. This is Gojo's repulsion ability of the Limitless, and this is completely useless against Kakashi because he's way fast enough to dodge the blast or even tank it. Now, in character, Kakashi won't even let any attack hit him in the first place unless there's absolutely no way he can deal with it. Kakashi is just the type of character that he's too skilled, he's too evasive, he's too elite. He doesn't take damage unless there's absolutely nothing he can do about the attack that's about to hit him. Warrior Kakashi can easily react to the red glow and dodge it. And if he's DMS Kakashi, he can just let that shit phase through him or block it with his Susanoo. It's too easy. Either ways, Gojo's curse technique red isn't doing shit to Kakashi. Easy work. Moving on to blue, Gojo's curse technique lapse, which gives him powerful attraction ability. Now, this is useless against Kakashi because, as we see in the fight against Sukuna, not only can this compression of space be dodged, we also see this versus Toji. But even when the target is pulled away, they are just going to get slammed into buildings, and that's just not going to do anything to Kakashi. He's way too durable for that. But now check this. Even if Gojo tries to drag Kakashi into close range like Pain's universal pull, he can easily react to Gojo anyway and defend what follows up with that. Or if he's DMS Kakashi, he would simply warp out of space, away into the Kamui dimension, and then there's nothing for Gojo to pull in anyway. Either ways, it's useless. Moving on to the Hollow Purple, and I've already explained why this wouldn't work. It's too slow to hit Kakashi. That's just it. Kakashi will dodge the attack. That's all it is. Warrior Kakashi will dodge it easily. DMS Kakashi will just blitz Gojo anyway. And even if we grant the attack the FTL calc, it is still the same thing. Kakashi can easily react to it. Also, one thing to note about this move is that even though it's stated to erase matter, we vividly see Sukuna withstand it multiple times without actually getting erased. Now, whether or not you think it's based on sheer durability or crest energy defense doesn't matter. Even if Gojo does the unlimited Hollow Purple, which is the omnidirectional blast he used against Sukuna, Kakashi can deal with this attack in multiple ways. He can choose to dodge it, which is typically what Kakashi would do, knowing how he fights. But if it's DMS Kakashi, he can simply let it phase through him. And with a Susanoo, he can even tank that shit. So, Hollow Purple, no matter how you look at it, won't do anything to Kakashi. It is what it is. Now, moving on to the real reason why we are here. Infinity. How does Kakashi deal with Infinity? You see, Kakashi can bypass Infinity using Kamui. Contrary to popular opinion, Kakashi's Kamui doesn't actually travel. Just like the other aspects of the Kamui technique, it's a space-time teleportation ability that simply spawns on its targets, which is literally what Kakashi looks at. And with that, he can warp whatever he desires. So, Kakashi wouldn't need to bypass Infinity because Kamui being a space-time teleportation simply ignores all of that distance anyway. After all, teleportation is the ability to move from one point to the other without actually traversing the physical distance, which is exactly what Kamui does. Kakashi will spawn the Kamui on Gojo and take his head off. And before you claim Gojo can dodge it, you need to stop the cap because he's simply not fast enough to do so. Not only is Kakashi considerably faster than this guy, but the two issues he would have normally with Kamui don't even exist here, which are how fast the target he has to warp and how big the target is, which usually takes a huge chunk of chakra from him. But in this case, it's only Gojo's tiny head and it will be easy work. A few examples of Kakashi warping bigger targets is in the Warak when he attempted to use Kamui to gouge out the Gedo statue's head. He can also warp in things as big as the 8 and 9 tails. And in terms of warping speed, Kakashi's Kamui is fast enough to warp out the Gedo statue's entire arm, faster than Madara could summon it away to the other side of the battlefield. Kakashi is also fast enough to react to Sasuke's Susanoo arrow, which is known for its ridiculous speed. And Kakashi was fast enough to Kamui the entire arrow while it was in motion, and this was only with one Kamui. For the people who don't know, the speed of Kamui teleportation is doubled when both eyes are in use. So fast that it surpasses Madara's attack speed, quicker than his attacks can land on Kakashi and Obito. Even with Madara knowing fully well how this attack works, not to talk of Gojo who has no idea what he's up against. So, in summary, can someone escape fast enough before they get completely warped out of space? Yes. But can Gojo do it? Can he move faster than Kakashi can warp? Hell nah. So, Kamui straight up just yanks off Gojo's head and it's over. Another possible way Kakashi can bypass Infinity is to actually teleport beyond the Infinity barrier. Now, this one is a lot more contentious, but it's still very practical because the way the Kamui space-type teleportation works, it's not like Minato's teleportation where they have to tag where they are going first. No, there is no marking. He can simply move anywhere. He and Obito can move anywhere to the other in space. So Kakashi could simply teleport from his own position to beyond the Infinity barrier. The barrier around Gojo isn't something like a body armor where if you teleport beyond it, you would still have to bypass his skin or anything. No, it's just the space around him. So possibly if that distance can be crossed through teleportation, then he should be able to bypass Infinity and just attack Gojo directly. But like I said, this one is up in the air, so take it with a grain of salt. I'm just putting it out there. Now, what about Gojo's domain expansion? Unlimited void. How does Kakashi deal with this? Because this is Gojo's best win condition. It's usually his instant GG against opponents. So the thing about domain expansions that nobody really talks about is that these attacks are barriers that have an activation speed and they can be dodged. Nobody really talks about this. I don't know why, but me, I will. The thing about domain expansion is Kakashi is fast enough to dodge Gojo's barrier. It's literally stated that these barriers have an activation speed. Also, we literally see that these barriers have to enclose their target first before anything even happens. And we know for damn sure that barriers can be dodged because Yuji did it in his fight against Mahito. So what exactly is stopping Kakashi from reacting to Gojo before he encloses the barrier and traps him inside and just uses Kamui to teleport out of there? Can somebody actually break it down for me? Tell me why Kakashi can't do that. I would like to see you try. Because Kakashi already has faster movement and reaction speed. But guess what? He also has the Sharingan, which means he can read every single slight movement from Gojo. Before Gojo raises his hand up to do the hand sign, Kakashi already knows what he's about to do. That's just what it is. And then having the Kamui teleportation just means he can warp out before the barrier encloses him inside. Or he can just warp out of range anyway. So Kakashi is going to be safe. The difference in reaction speed is way too crazy for Kakashi to just stand there and let the barrier enclose him. It's just not gonna work. And he's way smarter than that. And the thing about Kakashi's speed in this case, some people might think I'm downplaying Gojo's speed in respect to Kakashi. But let me give you a perfect example to make you realize the speed difference, especially if it's DMS Kakashi. In the war arc, it took Killer Bee, my guy Naruto, and Kakashi to walk around Obito's Kamui ability. Keep in mind, all these characters I mentioned are at least light speed. On low ball, they would at least be relativistic. And whether you believe that or not, we can all agree that every single character here is faster than the fastest characters in JJK. That one is a fact. Now, he's taking 3 of these guys that are all faster than everybody in JJK just to hang with Obito, and they still couldn't touch him because of the Kamui intangibility. They still couldn't touch him. Let it be clear. They still couldn't, because what makes Kamui intangibility even much more impressive than abilities that make the person untouchable like Infinity is that Gojo's Infinity is a passive ability. In the sense that even when Gojo is caught off guard, he has the Infinity there automatically. So he doesn't really need to do anything. It will just protect him. But the thing about Kamui intangibility that it is completely based on the user's reaction speed. It's not a passive ability where they are just automatically intangible. No, they actually have to actively react to their opponents. Which means Obito's reaction speed was just so crazy. 3 light speed to FTL characters were not able to touch him. And then you have DMS Kakashi, who outskills every single character I just mentioned here by miles in terms of speed, attack, reaction, whatever. And you expect that Gojo will touch this guy? Come on, man. Come on, man. I hope I painted that picture clear enough for you. I went out of my way to give that long-ass explanation just to make my point very clear. Gojo will never lay a finger on Kakashi. Never. Especially if it's DMS Kakashi. Never. This version of Kakashi is keeping up with 6-parts Naruto and Sasuke, and he can easily react and outspeed Kaguya, but you think it's Gojo that will touch him. If I kick you. Kakashi and Gojo, they are not mates. They are really not mates at all. And one thing about Kakashi is he's ridiculously smart. And for the record, Gojo is very smart too, but Gojo's intelligence isn't going to bridge the gap in power and speed. Intelligence is usually relevant when there's a close gap in power amongst the 2 opponents, and then intelligence can make up that little difference that will give the person the win. That's cool. But in this particular instance, this is like heaven and earth type of difference. It is very, very wide. It's like saying Shikamaru beat Kaguya because he's smarter than her. Come on, man. And then one silly thing about Gojo is he's very, very arrogant in the sense that he's like a Bleach character. He opens his big mouth to be explaining to everybody how his abilities work, which is going to be funny because against Kakashi, who is already smart enough to figure out everything you can do, Kakashi is so intelligent, he's obviously going to piece together how Gojo's abilities work one way or another along the fight. When he sees that he can't touch Gojo, he's going to start figuring things out. But to think that Gojo can open his mouth and just explain everything to him already will just make his work easier. And he will die in the first 5 minutes. Easy. And for the people that do not know, Gege Akutami himself also acknowledges the fact that Gojo isn't on Kakashi's level. This was being talked about one time on Twitter, and Gojo fans were coping, talking about Gege he cannot power scale. The same Gege that created the Jujutsu Kaisen power system, all of a sudden isn't intelligent and doesn't know about power scaling. Okay, maybe not the cope they go. But anyway, Kakashi destroys Gojo. He is literally a walking counter to everything that makes Gojo special. Everything that makes Gojo what he is, Kakashi just shuts it down. Easy. Light work. So please put an end to this debate for once and for all. Kakashi is just way beyond Gojo's reach, man. He doesn't have the juice for this one. It is what it is. The better white-haired sensei wins. That's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is a long ass video, man. But if you made it all the way here, I appreciate you, man. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.